2, 3.
To Paramount City. Hello, my name's Arthur Smith. Here we are in London. I must say London's really getting me down at the moment. You know, it's dirty, nothing works, there's dog mess everywhere, you know. And that's just my flat. But you know what they say, when a man is tired of London, he's tired of life. When a man is tired of Swindon, he's been there about half an hour. Oh, Swindon, you know, Swindon, it's twinned with a mud flat in Siberia, you know. What to do with time off in Swindon? Go to London! But, you know, they're trying to think up all these phrases for provincial towns so they can make a bit of a comeback. Have you heard that one? Wouldn't it be nice if every town was like Milton Keynes? No! It's like saying, wouldn't it be nice if every human being was like Noel Edmonds? See, I think it's unfair on the towns like Swindon that can't think up these smart-ass slogans, because apparently they stuck 10 advertising men in a room for 3 weeks trying to think up the best slogan they could for Swindon. The best they could come up with was Swindon, what a bloody hole. And that's the one they're using, apparently. Well, of course, the big story of the week is Mad Cow's Disease, BSE, I believe it's called. And we've got some people here to reassure you about it. This is their latest single, released in 1963, and mercifully recaptured a couple of months later. Here they are, the Mad Cowboys!
We'd like to reassure you British beef is still the best. It's not reared on sheep's intestines, bones and blood and all the rest. No, we feed our cows on hand-picked grass and dandelions and clover. But cows get tired like you and me, and then they just fall over. Our British cows ain't really mad, they're just a tad annoyed. Life for them is empty since their brains have been destroyed. Put yourself in their position, I mean, how would you feel? To grow up in a small dark box and bleed to death as feel. BSE, BSE, BSE. Bovine spongiform encephalopathy, that's a big word. BSE, BSE, BSE. Holy cow, just look what it's done for me. One more time. BSE, BSE, BSE. It's just some pinko boffins fantasy. BSE, BSE, BSE. Stand more chance of getting it than BSB.
John Selwyn Gummer tells us how it's still quite safe to eat dead cow.
Take your daughter by the hand and stuff her with a dead cow gland.
His wife and family love it too. Raw steak, pork chops, and Irish stew.
Liver, kidneys, tongue, and fat. They'd even eat dead cat. BSB, BSE, BSE. When you slaughter all the herd, start with Douglas. That's our plea. BSE, BSE, BSE. If there's one mad cow that needs a chop, it must be Mrs. T. Old MacDonald had a fit. E-I-B-S-E.
We're doing this show. People often ask me, what's the difference between a British and a US stand-up? Well, the American stand-ups tend to come on and they talk to the audience, say, how are you? They really work the audience, whereas we British comics tend to work the audience over. That'll serve him right. He hasn't sniggered once all night. The next act's been coming on in leaps and bounds. I said to him, you only need to walk on, frankly. Here he is, the brilliantly funny David Baddeil.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I am David Baddeil. Before I begin, I just must ask whether anyone else has noticed that Michael Burke has started winking at the end of the 9 o'clock news. So it's like, and that was the news on the day that 10,000 Armenians are known to have died. Honestly, we're going like that next. Basically, I think that Britain is rubbish. And I think you can tell that Britain is rubbish because of going for gold. We have to invent a TV quiz to make ourselves look more intelligent than Europeans, based on the wholly incorrect assumption that there's no unfair advantage in being able to speak the language that the questions are asked in. And the other reason that I think Britain is rubbish is the nightlife. I mean, basically everything in this country stops too early, except Jimmy Savile's pacemaker, I think. And then in London, to get home, you have to catch the night bus. And the night bus, as anyone who lives in London will know, just never arrives. Like, you have to wait for it in Trafalgar Square, which is why it's always so packed by the end of the year. I can't see any other reason. And I think the third reason why Britain is rubbish is the SAS, right? It's very difficult for a comedian to slag off the SAS, because, of course, they are the last vestige of British national pride. I mean, we may have lost, like, an empire, a manufacturing industry, in every single round of Jeux sans frontières, but we do have these 8 blokes who are really quite hard. Marvellous. Now, that was a bit of social satire. My parents never thought I was going to be a social satirist. They always thought I was going to be a scientist. But it always amuses me how wrong parental prediction always is. I mean, like, you might not know this, but when Leon Britton was 3, for example, his father turned to his mother and said, "You know, I think Leon's going to grow up to be a slim, handsome man without any warts on his face." Similarly, when Colin Moynihan was 3, his father turned to his mother and said, "You know, I think Colin's going to grow up." Like my parents, my grandfather didn't actually have any foresight. It's actually my grandfather who in 1963 advised John F. Kennedy to buy a convertible. But my other grandfather actually died on the occasion of his 92nd birthday, which was a great shame as we were only halfway through giving him the bumps. As an intellectual, I do spend a lot of my time playing video trivia games. I was playing one the other day, and the first question came up, typical one for these machines. It said, if you were wearing lederhosen, spending francs, and speaking Flemish, where would you be? Well, you could be in Leicester Square, if you took enough acid. But I pressed Swiss Austria, that was the correct answer. Then I was on a double or nothing. I was up for 10 quid, and the machine gave me this question. If all history is relative, there could be no such concept as being. Discuss. Easiest 10 quid I've ever earned. And on the same note now, my impression of Blockbusters host Bob Holness. What C am I? Quite really accurate. I think one thing that is worrying me at the moment is the greenhouse effect and global warming and stuff like that, because I reckon if the summer continues the way it's going, then at the end of it we're going to have, like, a new sign at swimming pools to go with no ducking, no diving, no petting and no pushing, no water. People will still pay £1.50, though, to get verrucas and roll around in a 9-year-old's turd. But something that is worrying me, which is of greater social importance than that, I think, is, you might not know this, but Radio 1 are presently thinking of shelving Simon Bates' Our Tune, all right? Apparently, no, really. Apparently, its future depends on listeners writing in to say whether they like it or not. And I'd like to implore everybody here and at home to write in and say that they do like it, because it does cheer me up every day to hear a laughable catalogue of personal disaster. I particularly like the ones about a woman. Let's just call her Linda. And Linda has a baby, and yeah, the baby was very ill, and yeah, 6 months later it died, and then on the way to the funeral, the hearse crashed and all her relatives died, and then Linda thought nothing else would go wrong, but then her boyfriend got cervical cancer, and then there was a minor nuclear accident underneath her settee, but one thing has kept Linda going throughout all this, and that's Shut Up in Your Face by Joe Dolce. Thank you very much, you've been great. I've been David Baddeil. Good night.
Well, people have been asking me what I'm going to be doing after the end of this series. I've got myself a part in a TV programme in Baywatch, yes. It's only a small part. I get to play a seagull, but I do get to crap on David Hasselhoff's head. So it's $200 a week, but I'm prepared to pay. I don't care. Two out of the next band are daughters of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. One of them's parents were mamas and papas. Here they are with their new single, Hold On. Please welcome Wilson Phillips.
Why do you lock yourself up in these chains? No one can change your life except for you. Don't ever let anyone step all over you. Just open your heart and your mind. Is it really fair to feel this way inside? Oh, someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. Until then, baby, are you gonna let him hold you down and make you cry? Don't you know, things will change, things will go your way if you hold on for one more day. Can you hold on for one more day? Things will go your way. Hold on for one more day. Change your mind. No. Someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. Until then, baby, are you gonna let him hold you down and make you cry? Don't you know, things will change, things will go your way if you hold on for one more day. If you hold on for one more day, things will go your way. I know that there is pain, but you hold on for one more day and you break free from the chains. Yeah, I know that there is pain, but you hold on for one more day and you break free from the chains. Someday somebody's gonna make you wanna turn around and say goodbye. Until then, baby, are you gonna let him hold you down and make you cry? Don't you know, things will change, things will go your way if you hold on for one more day, yeah. Hold on. Can you hold on? Can you hold on, baby? Won't you tell me now? Hold on for one more day, 'cause it's gonna go your way.
Well, I don't know if you've seen this new TV programme they're putting on Saturday evenings. It's hosted by Cilla Black and Oliver Reed, and it's called Blind Drunk. And what happens is that people get really, really drunk and then just beat hell out of Jeremy Baddiel. Seems like a good show to me, I must say. Mind you, there's a lot of censorship on TV. Apparently they've stopped the latest series of Man from U.N.C.L.E. on the grounds that Napoleon Solo can't keep catching thrush every week. And now an extraordinary double act. One man and his double bass, Jim Tavare.
Thank you. Good evening, or in the words of Beethoven, beg your pardon. I used to be a member of the London Philharmonic Orchestra, but they didn't like me much because I was dyslexic. I went around saying I was a member of the PLO. I was a child prodigy at 24. Almost as soon as I took up the double bass, I had to put it down again. It was too heavy. Neighbours are very polite where I live. They say, that was a nice tune. You kept playing. Neighbour on the other side said, will you do a turn at my wedding in Devon? I said, do you think I'm going 150 miles with a double bass for a 5-minute unpaid spot in the middle of nowhere? When is it? Actually, I've not had a very good week. I came down the other morning, I found the hamster was still. So I phoned up the vet. He says, nothing to worry about, it's just gone into hibernation. I said, I wish you'd told me earlier, I flushed it down the toilet. Took the bass on an aeroplane, they said you have to book a seat for it. I said, all right, I'll book a seat for it. She said, smoking or non-smoking? Anyone in from North London?
Yes. Yes.
You can help me carry this back tonight. It's showtime. This is bassy, double bass. I got it at an auction. I thought I was bidding for a double bed. Now, the main problem with an act like this is that the bass gets all the best lines. And believe it or not, that's very funny to other double basses. This is called the bow. This is also called the bow. A bit stupid, isn't it? I was walking around like this for years. This is called rosin. And to celebrate the bicentenary of the French Revolution, I give you King Louis XVI. Basically like to do one of her favourite impressions. That's Mozart just after he was buried. Now, a couple of film impressions. Psycho. Mutiny on the Bounty. Now, it is classical music. That's what I'm known for. So I give you Beethoven's Suite Number 25. Room service. And now, something from Tchaikovsky. Very nice film, wasn't it? Anyone for opera? I give you The Barber of Seville. Condom, sir? Here. You've been a tremendous collection of people. I'd like to say I've been going out with a double bass now for quite a long time. So the other day I found her reading this filth. Steve, you've got to admit, though, look at the bridge on that. Group session. Pages all stuck together with resin. readers' wives. Bloody filth. Okay, I'm going to finish with a piece of modern music, my own modern music. It's been requested, Man Sawing His Wooden Leg Off. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, of course, as I said, the big news story this week is mad cow's disease. Well, now, how do you recognise if a cow is actually mad? I mean, obviously, if it stands on its head and wears a bow tie and shouts out, "I love abattoirs," it is clearly a little bit mad. But maybe it's not, maybe it's just, like, eccentric, you know, because I think madness is a concept used by society to categorise people whose spirit they cannot break. That's what I think, and so does my giraffe, Melvin. And now, if you ever go in tall gal shops, I frequently do myself, you might have seen the next act. She's very funny. She is Judy Gold.
Thank you very much. Well, this is about the size of my last boyfriend. How are you? Great. Really nice to be. I'm very tall, in case you didn't notice. I'm 6'3", which, yeah, I like it now, but it was really hard when I was a kid, because, you know, I reached this height, I was 13 years old. So I'm walking down the halls in grammar school, everyone's calling me names and picking on me. I didn't know what to do. I'd go home to my mother, I'd be like, "Mom, all the kids are teasing me in school, I don't know what to do." She'd say to me, "Judith, don't worry about it, they're jealous of you. Go upstairs, put on your father's clothes, leave me alone, get away from me, I can't see you." She's amazing, though. Had kids very late in life. My parents were in their 40s when I was born, which was tough when I was younger, because I'd be walking around with my parents as a kid. All the kids would be coming up to me going, "Oh, are those your grandparents?" Then I'd be walking around with my grandparents. All the kids were like, "Oh, are those fossils?" Yes. So it turns out I'd go to school, get picked on. When I got home, my mother was going through menopause, so she'd always be sitting on the couch crying. You know, she'd cry and knit. Then we'd all have fights. She'd do the dishes and cry. Then we'd ask her what she wanted for her birthday. She'd say the same thing every year. "What do I want for my birthday? I want you kids to get along. All I want is peace in this house. I want one room I can go into, close the door, and have a little privacy is what I want." Well, we saved a lot of money on gifts, so that was exciting. Yeah, we bought her a gift last year for her birthday. We got her an answering machine. She doesn't really need it, though, because the only people that call her are her children. But she put the appropriate message on the machine. "Look, we're not home right now. If you'd like to leave a message, leave one. If you don't want to leave one, don't leave one. We're not going to be making up your decisions for you anymore. You got to make up your own goddamn minds." Thank you. I've moved out now. I have my own home, and I sort of have my own family, too. I recently adopted 2 cats, which I love. I have a 5-year-old. I have a 1-year-old also. I'm so sad, though. Last week, the 5-year-old told me that she wants to search for her biological parents. You can never prepare for a moment like that. It is such a shock. I love having my own place. I can always have visitors. I love having people over for dinner. Recently, my Aunt Sylvia came over for dinner. This woman, I'm telling you, she gets crazier as the years go on. Her husband died 30 years ago. She can't get over it. She still has his clothes in her closet. She just cannot get it. She's nuts. So she comes over. The new thing she's doing is she's turning everything that he owned into something. So I'm sitting at my dinner table. You know, she walks over to me. She says, "So, what do you think of this necklace?" I'm like, "It's nice." "Dave's old belt buckle." Then she leans over the table and says, "Well, what do you think of these little round ball earrings?" I'm like, "I don't even want to know." Thank you so much. You guys have been great. Thank you.
There you go. Well, I've got hold of it. I've managed to get hold of this controversial BBC poll that was, in fact, the BBC chose not to use. And what it was, it says Conservative MPs were asked who they felt would be the most suitable figure to lead them into the next election. And 2% said Mrs Thatcher, 3% said Michael Heseltine, and 94% said General Custer. And just the 1 vote for Moses there, I'm afraid. The next pair are never likely to make leader of the Conservative Party, and we wouldn't want them to. The very funny Curtis and Ishmael.
Good evening.
sussed it, you like the sussed it, yeah.
You like whistle and flutes?
Right, whistle and flute.
That's right,
Because
yeah.
we've sussed it, ladies and gentlemen. How to make it big in showbiz.
That's right.
It was easy. You just sat down and thought about it. And what is it you want to know? Ask us. What is it? A good catchphrase! You've got to have a good catchphrase.
All the top entertainers got good catchphrases.
Yeah, that's right. Like Frankie Howard. Ooh, Mrs. Don't. Ooh, don't chit out. Because you're tittering. You're tittering.
Don't chit out. No.
Right, that's one.
You got. Come here, there's more. Jimmy Cricket. Come here, there's more.
Right,
You got loads of money, loads of one guy. He made loads of money, didn't he?
Loads of money. You got Jim David.
Jim David.
Right, yeah. Successful comedians have got catchphrases.
That's right, yeah.
See, I've got one.
Yeah, so have I.
Well, let me do mine first.
No, I'll do mine. Because we need something that relates to us.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. Yeah.
All right.
What you got?
Cuck-a-fart. That's my catchphrase.
And what does it mean?
Don't you know?
Well, I know. I'm trying to share it with the audience.
Oh,
that's
right,
all.
I see. Well, okay, it means, what on earth are you saying?
Oh.
All right? All right, yeah.
Do it again. Cuck-a-fart! How do you fit that into a joke then?
All right, okay. I send my son to the half license, right, for buy 2 buckle of Guinness for me, right? I give him £2.
Yes.
3 hours pass, it don't come back. All of a sudden, the phone ring. I say, cuck-a-fart! I don't want my phone.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you see? It was next door neighbors, right? And guess who on the line? The police. They say, your son Delbert has been arrested. I say, cuck-a-fart! And I run all the way down to that police station, right? I say, I believe you have my son Delbert here. He said, yes, we have Mike. I said, have you searched him? He said, no, we haven't Mike. I said, listen, I want you to do 2 things for me. Two. 1, stop calling me Mike. And second, you search that boy and give me back my £2 and tell him I'll get the bloody Guinness myself. And I said, cuck-a-fart after that.
Oh, right.
You got one?
Yeah.
What is it?
My one's good.
Yeah?
I wear the ass.
I wear the ras.
That means, like, what the hell?
Oh, what the hell?
I wear the ass.
It's very West Indian, isn't
Coming
it?
from the soul,
Very
you see,
West
soul,
Indian.
soul.
Very ethnic.
Right?
Yeah, so how do you fit it into a joke?
Bertie, decorating my house.
Yeah.
You start the job, it looked very good.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
2 weeks pass, I don't see Bertie. I say, where the rat? You can join in anytime you're ready, right? I go round him house,
Yes, yeah.
I'm knocking on the door, no answer. I look in through the window, Bertie fast asleep on the sofa. I say, I wear the rat. No, come in with it, come in, help. Right? Anyway, right, I kick off the door and I walk in. Bertie face red, blue, pink, every color of the rainbow.
He was dead?
Of course he was dead.
So what do you do?
Well, I decorate the bloody place myself. You see, it can't work, it can't work. We've got it.
Okay, now try and get it into like a mainstream comedy sort of thing.
Mainstream.
Mainstream. Try a bit of mainstream.
Well, put me on there, because that's mainstream.
Okay.
Knock.
Who's there?
I wasn't talking to you.
The police!
Cuck-a-fart!
Yeah, it works, isn't it? Slipped in there nice.
Oh, here you go. I wouldn't say my wife was fat.
I would.
What the rat? Thank you. We are close to this, bro. Good night.
Great stuff there. Well, look, I'll tell you what I've got in this bag. In here, I have got... You've seen it before. This is Shakespeare's liver. It is. Antechamber of Renaissance poo. Now, this is Shakespeare's heart. In this bag, I also have Shakespeare's spleen, Shakespeare's sphincter. In short, I have here the complete works of Shakespeare. It wasn't worth it. And now, please enter the wild, weird, and wonderfully funny world of Emo Phillips.
Probably the toughest time in anyone's life is when you have to murder a loved one because they're the devil. Other than that, though, things have been going well. I was almost arrested today. I was running, and this cop says, look, if you want to go running, do it through a park, not a graveyard. So I'm thinking, obviously, he's not a hurdle man, you know. Oh, boy. Well, you folks are really cheering me up. I needed cheering up. I broke up with my girlfriend. She got mad at me because I accidentally threw up on her grandmother. It was an accident. I was leaning over to kiss her grandma goodbye, and I got a whiff of her stale perfume, and I accidentally threw up all over her, you know. Luckily, I was one of the last mourners in line. Could have been a lot worse. So I've been trying to make up with her. I got her a ring, and she said, I don't like this ring. I said, you picked it out. It's not my fault. You couldn't operate the little crane better, you know. I said, what do you want? She said, I don't know, surprise me. Just give me something crazy and expensive I won't even need. So I signed her up for radiation treatments. Well, some people are hard to shop for, you know, like my nephew. He wasn't very happy with the exploding suppositories I got him for his last birthday, you know. And I said, what do you want this year? He said, I want a Batmobile. Well, unbeknownst to me, one of them was still alive when I hung it over his bed. And... Well, I went to his birthday party. Well, birthday party, that's American. And we had fun. I dressed like a clown. He said, you're a lousy clown. I want to see your trick. You know. So I took his dog and twisted him into a balloon. And I took him to the playground afterwards. I go to the playground all the time to watch the little kids jump up and down and scream, because they don't know I'm using blanks. It's fun. And he says, Uncle Emo, give me a push on the swing. So I push him, he says, harder. So I push him, he says, give me a real push, you wimp. So I get about 50 feet back, and I run and I push him. He says, give me a real push, you pansy. So I backed up the Buick. He got out of the way. You know, my car, I called the mechanic. I said, my car starts, but it doesn't move. He said, check the trans. So I said to my brother, take off your dress and help me with this thing. I called this other mechanic once. I said I was going down a steep hill, and I went to slam on the brakes, and they didn't work. He says, sounds like you lost a lot of fluid. I said, well, who wouldn't? My car doesn't... See, I put a lock on the steering wheel, but I lost the key, and now I can only drive in a straight line. And if I want to turn the corner, I have to go part way into the intersection and turn off the lights and wait for someone to sideswipe me, you know. Go in that direction. Well, you folks, it's people like you who have come here. And you're really cheering me up. I needed cheering up. I was on my aunt's farm in Wisconsin. Do we have any farmers here?
Yeah.
Oh, I hear you, hot mama. Well, I'm no farm boy. I'm from the city. She said, Emo, milk the cows. And I didn't want her to think I was a city slicker. Well, I come back after an hour. I said, the big one with the horns almost killed me. She said, that's the bull. So now I don't feel bad that I only got half a cup, you know. Now, you folks, thank you for being here. You have cheered me up. I was in the doctor's office in the waiting room. Oh, the guy next to me says, what's your problem? I've said I've the biggest hemorrhoid you've ever seen. He said, is that why you're sitting on that beanbag chair? I said, look again. Thank you for being my friends. Bye-bye, London.
Brilliant stuff there. Emo Phillips. And you can see Emo Phillips if you're interested at the Playhouse in London throughout June. Now, I've been to the British seaside last Sunday and I got this unusual sort of thing, but it isn't actually, because actually if you put your ear up against it, you can just about hear the sound of sewage pouring into the sea. It's nice, isn't it? Talking of sewage, I see Prince Charles has got an exhibition of his painting at the moment. I'm very impressed. The last time I saw a royal with a brush in his hand, he'd hacked it off the back of a fox. But, I hope you've got your invitations and your dancing shoes, because here they are. World Party!
Says, give a little bit of your love to me. 'Cause I'm waiting right here with my open arms. She says,